Hello, everybody. Welcome to your February Part 2 2024. I'm glad that you're here. Thanks for tuning in. And if you feel moved to subscribing, I share things over on my subscription community. This month, I'm sharing free access to all of my forecasts, all 12 on my membership site. And it helps offset the continual 60 unsubscribe events that I have every month since 2020. So there's some funny business going on, but again, thank you if you feel moved to. So we enter this month, and I feel really the big news here is the Chiron energy. It is coming more and more into our collective because Chiron will be conjunct the node on the 19th of February, 17 degrees, but is already strongly in orb, as well as this powerful new moon solar eclipse moving through the United States will be conjunct Chiron exactly. In that vein, I am having a Chiron webinar this Saturday, which would be the 17th of February, and there's still a few spaces open. In my 15 years of working full time, this is what I do, it's who I am. I've always paid great attention to the Chiron placement in the chart as well as by transit. And this North Node conjunct Chiron on the 17th is, being open, that mind heart opening to universal cycles and ready to receive insights into your true purpose or the evolutionary growth path that is at play collectively and in our own lives, tied to our very unique individualistic birth mapping. And Chiron is often about the third dimensional programs that we experience, that we as great souls come on planet and we come into this matrix of energy, knowing many of us that we're from somewhere else, but we still have to work with this energy and the programs that have been running through humankind for many millennia. I was talking to a old mentor of mine, a good friend of mine earlier this week, and some interesting content came up and discussing how when you're connecting with guides and dimensions, that's quite electrical. But what I can see being left out frequently is being connected to the physical and to the earth herself. That's magnetic, and paying attention to our magnetic health. When I talk about grounding, I'm talking about I always take my energy down and ground deeply in because I can feel my activity up here. And I think a lot of people can in this information age, in the cyber world that we're in. We're probably overactivated on the electrical. And when we bring that down through stretching, sitting on the ground, walking, hugging trees, infrared light is very helpful with this as well to help with the grounding process. It reminds us that we are human embodied souls having this experience, and many of us are here to transform the earth programs through this matrix. But it does require a lot of personal dedication to our own vertical balance, our own mental wellness, mental health, all of that. Because I also see Chiron as being indicative and symbolic of health themes in people's lives and on the planet as well. So, this is a period for sure of looking at those third dimensional programs and transmuting them, transforming them. And, this can come up in opportunities through teaching and healing. A lot of people with strong Chiron in their chart are called to this purpose in their lives. And despite that sensitivity, being open to spiritual significance that's operating in your life at this conjunction. And I'm going to be looking at the Chiron placement in your chart and by transit because I do feel this is so integral to our path right now. And, um, Chiron is often where we're concentrating a lot of resources and knowledge when we feel vulnerable through some of the programs that we experience, especially early in our lives on this physical planet. We tend to want to gather and learn more and be better so we don't feel as vulnerable or sensitive. And it's a shamanic process. Chiron, unlike transits, is really about process, the process of integration, the process of transmutation, the alchemical process of transforming these human matrix patterns into a new pattern. But that doesn't occur out there, it occurs in here. So much of this path is about the connection with our inner energy, how balanced we're feeling vertical between the electrical and the magnetic, how grounded are we? Because the magnetic is very much about the physical body. And, this is going to be a peak experience when we head towards this new moon solar eclipse on the 7th and 8th of April. And it's about opening and transformation and shifts. And it's a rite of passage kind of energy that's coming in quite strongly. Now, next year, Chiron will be conjunct Eris. They're within 2 degrees right now. And, Chiron is also referred to as the maverick planet. Very apropos in Aries. It spends its longest transit in Aries for good reason, because it is about the individuation process. And it echoes the Pluto Aquarius transit of the transformation of our social constructs and structures, of the need to fit in, which goes back in our history. If we didn't fit in or if we were ostracized, we may have survival issues. So that's operating in a lot of our psyche as well, about I need to fit in and not draw attention to myself. But this Pluto Aquarius, Chiron Aries is going to be pushing on us and creating openings for awareness and the transmutation of those old fears of being ostracized, being abandoned, not being able to survive. That operates quite deeply in the psyche, the collective psyche. And, because people define themselves through their connections with others, who they know, what they did, right? And I want to just read a little excerpt from Edgar Cayce. When I was 10 years old, my grandmother, a very intuitive soul, gave me a 4-volume book on Cayce, and that was extremely helpful, as she knew it would be. But here's what he says. He says, mind is the active principle that governs man, the active force in our animate object. Mind is in control of the world, that which makes one individual when we reach the earth plane. And mind reasons the impressions from the senses as they manifest before the individual. Psychic force is a manifestation of the soul and the spirit. The mind is a manifestation of the physical. And this is important because we're learning how intricately important what we eat is to our mental state, to our mental wellness, to not feeling attention deficit or anxious. That's too much electrical, right? So, what can we do to work with the magnetic and the body to be the housing of the spiritual and all of this electric energy? And with solar maximum in full flow now, I think we have 3 solar flares, CMEs, coming our way today as I am recording. And, so more radiation can be, yes, activating our genome, our DNA, but it can put a stress of electrical energy on the body. And why grounding is so important, and mitigating this with healthy food. Vitamin B is in boy, is very helpful for mental health. You know, food is medicine. Food is medicine. And while we're having, some challenges with food due to the quality of it and the, chemicals in it, that absolutely plays a role in our health in a number of ways. So, conscious mind depends on the recognizing senses of sight, hearing, smell, taste to feed it material necessary for conscious reasoning. And so, our conscious reasoning and how we perceive things are absolutely tied into the health of our body and its function and its systems. So, I just wanted to reference his quote because um, I also see Chiron. I work with Chiron as being the ruler of Virgo. And this seems to be playing out over and over and over in the thousands of people I've worked with in the charts I've read. And it's a helpful kind of insight into our wellness as well. Now, on the 16th, Venus is conjunct Pluto. So we're moving through this Mars conjunct Pluto that is exact today as I'm recording. Happy Valentine's Day, happy Love Day. And then Venus will be coming in for that conjunction at the threshold of Aquarius. What are the quality of our relationships, right? Of our social relationships, of our relationship to technology, Pluto Aquarius. And Venus is not superficial in this dance with Pluto. She wants to go deep in the understanding. And the more conscious and healthy we are, the more we can hold space and understand our ability to transmute, to transform, even social relationships. Many people are feeling like the friends, the groups they align themselves with in the past are no longer really a magnetic match for them. So this will certainly be a theme as the Pluto Aquarian energy heats up. And also when Venus is conjunct Pluto on the 16th, Mercury is squaring Uranus from 19 degrees of Aquarius to Taurus. So a nice fixed square here. We're seeing these squares with Mercury. We're going to have another square with Venus at the beginning of April, and then a square from Mars at the new moon, rather in March. So this is going to be taking us through a process of the shifts and changes and adjustments between the Aquarian energy and our personal value and resources, Taurus. On the 18th, the sun transits into Pisces. So we're going to be swimming in those deeper waters of sensitivity and porousness. It's Neptune, Pisces rules the natural 12th house of the zodiac. So it's quite an inner way, but it speaks to our psychic health, our mental and our emotional health. And it's softer and compassion for self and one's journey and compassion for the collective journey. And Pisces also has a touch into health, correct? And then on the 19th, the node conjuncts Chiron, 17 degrees of Aries. On the 22nd, Venus conjuncts Mars, 6 degrees of Aquarius. So we're bringing in that male, that female principle, which is a nice kind of echo of what I've been talking about. Mars is quite proactive, the masculine, electrical. Venus is more that magnetic, physical. And how do we work with these and bring these into balance? The masculine and feminine within self. Are we just intelligent and critical? Are we also sensitive, compassionate to self and with those around us? Love and compassion tied with desire, how we go about getting what we need, what we want, etc. So this is really bringing into shape the divine masculine, divine feminine energy in Aquarius at 6 degrees. And then on the 23rd, Mercury transits into Pisces for the next 3 weeks. So our mind is moving out of kind of that intellectualized energy of Aquarius. Aquarius can be kind of cold, actually, which is kind of representational of the cyber world that we live in, that a lot of people are not doing so well interfacing with too much, actually. Staying in our body, having those physical exchanges. We are a herd animal and we need each other, because it helps our central nervous system, it helps our psychological well being to be in connection and relationship with others. And then we have the full moon on the 24th, and that's at 5 degrees of Virgo. So this is, again, echoing everything I'm speaking about here, and it's opposing Saturn in Pisces. And I see Saturn as Pisces as the commitment to one's spiritual, mental, psychic, and emotional health. And remembering to tend to the body, to tend to the structure, Saturn, that the soul is encased in, right? So there'll be culminations here, and that Virgonian energy. Virgo rules that sixth house of health, of what you do every day, how you eat, what you eat, your products, your services, your ability to be of service to yourself and others. And this full moon is trining Jupiter, very nice, in Taurus. So very grounded full moon here with Saturn involved. It's all about the grounding, practicality, step by step, organizing, being organized. You may also be seeing some effect of your labors, pardon me, that started in the September 2023 period coming to some fruition, some awareness now. Full moons are always about our emotional awareness, that feminine awareness, the feeling sense, and adjustments or attunements that we may need to make with our own health and wellness, as well as how we do our day, how we live our life in the everyday space of things. And then on the 27th and 28th, we're seeing Mars moving into square Jupiter from 11 degrees Aquarius to Taurus, another fixed square. Fixed signs are not keen on change being thrust upon them. So this is the universe's way of kind of helping us evolve and move along. But this can be very upbeat. It can be a time when you feel ready to take chances, to move on something. I mean, the only kind of cautionary part of this is to be aware of your resources and not overdoing in optimism, confidence, resources, money, etc. That once this transit passes, you may say, hold on, I kind of overcommitted something in some way, but it's beautiful for that confidence and wanting to experience more expansion between, how you work with your resources, how you pull your resources in, goals and dreams. But the Sun, Mercury are also on the 27th, 28th, exactly conjunct Saturn, 9 degrees of Pisces. So Saturn's very strongly highlighted in the second part of February, keeping us grounded. Saturn at the highest expression is commitment to ourselves, pardon me, intelligence, maturity, to our words, to how we approach things. It may be a serious time around the 27th and 28th where we're doing some deep work, or we may even be resting. Our energy may be a little bit low, not uncommon during the full moon period, so tending to that as well. I am also, the day after the full moon, I believe it's on the 25th, I'm going to be doing another dimensional wisdom webinar of tuning into your guides, your energies that are seeking to communicate during this passage of your life. So there's a link on that as well. And then the 29th is quite a beautiful day. You want to hold space for this because Mercury is sextiling Jupiter, 11 degrees Pisces to Taurus. And, with the sextile to Jupiter, it's a flowing feeling, a sense of well-being, mental wellness, peacefulness, optimism, generosity. Mercury, of course, are the people who populate our lives in the way of friends, family, kids, neighbors, partners. And simultaneously, On the 29th, Venus is sextiling that north node at 16 degrees Aquarius to Aries. So this can be a really lovely period for social connection, for enjoyment, for getting together with your people, with friends. Also, this can be about, goals and happiness themes that are feeling in a sense of flow at the end of this month. So very good month in many ways, supportive month, wise month, and also a call to our attention of how we're handling what I call the vertical balance between the electrical, mental energy, um, and the magnetic, the body, and the earth. We're made up of earth stuff, and that also feeds our mental health and how we're perceiving and what we're thinking. So much love to all of you, and I'll look forward to speaking with you again next month. Be well.